test, meantime, could have an impact at the polls today. That's why we wanted to have him on by phone. The Texas Republican congressman, former GOP presidential candidate, Dr. Ron Paul joins us right now. How about that? The idea, Congressman, of your supporters, particularly young voters, and their level of enthusiasm today. What would you say?
Well, they're tremendously enthusiastic, but they're not enthusiastic about the current election and the choice, between the two candidates, since they don't see a whole lot of difference between the two. Although there are other candidates on the ballot, everybody knows that one of the two, main contenders will become president, and they don't see enough difference to get very excited about this. And that's the reason some won't vote, and some will vote otherwise, and some will write in names. Who knows what they'll do? But they're very frustrated and aggravated that we don't see an opportunity for voting to change the direction of the country.
I think last time you were on, we tried to twist your arm and see who you were going to vote for, but we would always try again, right? Who'd you vote for? No? No,
I'm not talking about that. It's not important.
It's not. Why is it not important, by the way? Why is it not important for someone like you, who went through this process as a Republican, to come out and tell us who you're for today? And what does it say about the current election and the state of things that you won't say?
I think it'll give too much credibility to the election, and there's really not enough. I mean, we have a Republican candidate, and the Republicans are supposed to be the conservatives, and yet Governor Romney is advocating that we increase the spending by $2 trillion on militarism. So that's not very appealing. And, of course, his position on medical care, in Massachusetts doesn't really offer us much difference. So if we give too much credibility, people will start talking about this is the most crucial election in our lifetime, and I can't quite agree with that.
So your issues, you mentioned militarism a moment ago. The Federal Reserve, which we talked to you for years about, you just don't have much confidence that these issues will be paid attention to, or what do you think the next few years will look like?
I mean, the reflection should be did they talk about them when they gave speeches? Were they brought up in the debates? The Federal Reserve wasn't brought up. Was it brought up, the fact that the president we have now have issued kill lists and authority to assassinate individuals, American citizens as well? Those things weren't discussed. Do they talk about, being cautious about undermining the Fourth Amendment and cutting back? No, the subject doesn't even come up. So when it comes to civil liberties and foreign policy and monetary policy, there's been no discussion.
A lot of people come on and tell us that this is a clear choice between opposing visions, and you say there's not really much difference between the two candidates in Obama and Romney. After it's over tonight, are there big changes in store for the country, or will this status quo as you see it continue?
Yeah, well, the status quo means that there's going to be big changes, and neither one have addressed it, because I think our biggest problem immediately is the fiscal crisis coming and the huge debt. But neither one has talked about actual cuts. Nobody really helps explain to the people what baseline budgeting means. So the spending is going to continue. The deficits are going to continue. Who knows what will happen in January, but they'll postpone at least some of the big decisions and just sort of push them out 6 months or a year and try to decide later on. But no, eventually this is going to be a major, major event. I mean, I think when we look at the crisis that Greece just went through is probably nothing compared to what I think the world is going to go through when people reject the whole principle of fiat currencies, that you can create wealth out of thin air and you can bail out everybody. And nobody's really challenged that, and it makes no sense whatsoever that you can do this, even though it seems to some degree be working, but it's done on pure deception, and it can't last.
We'll talk to you more about those issues, as we always have, after the election. Congressman Paul, thanks a lot today.